and welcome to The Board Crew, episode 23. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm joined by...
Tony. Hello. How's everyone going?
I think it's a great day, evening, morning. I don't know. I'm not sure when you're listening.
Whatever time it is, I hope you're taking care of yourself and you're having a good time.
Yeah. Watch out for that red car that's driving past.
Yeah. Mate, I almost got into an accident on the way here. So anyway, cool. Push that aside. We're here to talk about board games.
We are. So we're going to talk about free games for something completely different for episode 23.
Yep. I'm going to talk about two games, Food Chain Island, and we're going to talk about Tiny Towns. And what have you got, Ben?
And we're also going to talk about The Veil of Eternity.
That's a cool game.
Yeah. It looks cute. So.
Yes, it is.
Actually, cute is a bit of a theme here. I haven't done Food Chain Island.
Yeah, no, I'd say cute will be a theme for today.
Okay, well.
There you go, Dick. There's some artwork for
you. Let's dive into the cuteness.
Okay, the first game I'm going to be reviewing is Food Chain Island, which is a solo game designed by Scott Olms and published in Australia by Even Toys and Games, but generally published by Buttonshy Games. So this is a solo game where you have a 4x4, I think it is, grid, 5x5 potentially, of animals, and they're all ranked, numbered 1 to 15. And then these animals slowly eat each other on this island. And
that got dark very quickly.
Yeah, hey, it's a food chain, isn't it?
Oh, so yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure.
You have like your like number 1s and 2s, which are like ants and centipedes and bugs, and like every animal eats the one directly below it, and I think 2 more below that.
Sure.
So if you're a number 1,
so like a lion's not going to eat like a centipede. Because, because
that would be like a 11 to 2, which is, a lion's hungrier than that.
Yeah.
But then I think the biggest one's like a polar bear.
Right. Okay, sure.
Unless you have the expansions, which are luckily in
island.
the box. Yeah, it's a very strange island. This is something out of like Lost. That's what it reminded me of. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yep.
This works.
Okay.
Yeah, this was an impulse buy from when we were actually in Canberra.
Right, yep.
So, yeah, my son, we went into the game store while we were there, and he just happened to see us on the shelf and just asked me for it for weeks afterwards. And I eventually caved and bought it. It's actually a lot of fun. We play it together, even though it's a solo game. Like, I just sort of help him read the things and everything. But, yeah, it's just a cool, thinky little puzzle. Each card, as you use the animal to put on top of another one to eat another one, they will have their own little, not power, but then effect of what you have to follow afterwards.
Sure.
So if you're like the fox, it might be, okay, so you eat the one next to you, but then you need to move 2 spaces, or like in your 5x5 grid. Or if you're the crocodile, rather than you going on top of the other one, you need to slide the card underneath. So you got to try and figure out what's the best way to bring them together. And since they can only eat what's next to it, all of a sudden, if you've got pieces apart from each other, you are starting to run out of things to eat. And it's like, oh no, I've got a 12 here. I've got a 5 there. They can't eat each other. I've got to somehow make this together. And that's the fun puzzling.
And so the aim is to kind of get down to one animal
The aim
left?
is to get down to one animal left. So it's to have the biggest predator eating last, generally. Yep. Yeah, it came with some cool expansions as well, and it comes with a couple of like ability cards. So that there's like a whale or a dolphin you choose at the start, and that will give you the ability to just move a card freely to help you out in this thing. Or, I think it's slide 2 cards around or something.
So is this like, I haven't played obviously because it's solo, and so therefore no. But
you can borrow it if you like.
Yeah,
then I'll have 2 out.
Yeah, I might even play it before Deke plays Friday. Is this like gamers' version of like Peg Solitaire? That one where you've got to just jump the pegs over and take the pegs so that you end up with one peg in the middle?
I have never personally played Peg Solitaire, but yeah, it sort of sounds like that.
Yeah, it's like a Chinese checkers kind of thing where you just jump the marbles over each other, and then each marble that jumps over, you take away a marble, and then...
Yeah, it's similar, but you can't use the one marble to jump over every single one.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't use one predator to eat everything. They'll only eat the ones below it.
Yeah.
Like
so
immediately
slightly more
3
difficult.
below it.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think the one for the ant, which is number 1, there's a plant, which is a 0.
Right.
So they can only eat the plant. But then what's above the ant? The frog? I think the frog can eat the plant as well, because it can go that little bit further down.
Frog's like a leaf. That's fine. Yeah.
Why not?
Cool.
So it's a fun little game. It came with some wacky expansions where you can throw in dinosaurs if you want to. I mean, it's your island.
I bet I bet your son loves that.
Oh, he does. He does. Like, we're playing with the T-Rex. Like, let's play the basic game first. No, we're playing with the T-Rex. Basic game. Then we got the basic games like T-Rex now. I'm like, yeah, T-Rex now.
Sure.
Cool. I'm like, only if we play with the Phoenix card. And he's like, okay, Phoenix. Like, so it's a lot of fun. There's lots of variability. Very quick game, being a button-shy game.
Yep. How long are you looking at a game?
10 minutes.
Okay,
Not
cool.
even. I mean, that's set up to pack down.
It really does feel like gamers Peg Solitaire then.
Yeah, no, it's really quick. You might take a little bit longer if you do some of the like harder varieties because they have it so rather than just being a straight grid, you take sections out the middle
Yep.
to give that already made space and you put them to the outsides. But
Yep. And so is this deterministic or is there any kind of randomness?
the
in it?
randomness is the way the cards are laid out.
Yep.
So because you shuffle the cards and then just lay them out.
Yeah.
Or if you use the expansions, as I said, which
Yeah.
come with the Australian version already packaged in. If you've got the Australian version, like you can change the plant to be a mandrake instead. So then it's like if you do that, then I think it's like the one you've used becomes poisoned. So then like bigger predators can eat it easily or something like that. There's a power that the mandrake has.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Like that's probably completely wrong, and I'm sure someone will comment that, be like, "It's not this power." I'm like, "Yeah, fair enough. I can't remember off the top of my head."
Yeah, you're just all about the T-Rex.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Well, the Phoenix, but yeah, for sure. Lots of fun. Yeah, it's a cheap buy as well. It was like $20 or something. I got it from Gameology and highly recommended.
Food Chain Island.
Food Chain Island. Nom nom.
Next up, we're talking about The Veil of Eternity. This is by Eric Hong and published by Renegade Game Studios and also Mandu Games,
Oh, nice.
who I haven't heard of before until this thing.
I've never heard of Renegade having another publisher with them.
They do a little bit of dual publishing. Anyway,
right. Anyway,
Veil of
We're
Eternity.
here to talk about the games, not the publishers.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we love publishers,
Yeah.
but buy the game wherever you can buy it, I
Yeah.
guess. So, Veil of Eternity is for 2 to 4 players and will take around about 40 minutes. It's basically a drafting tableau building game where you're going to be drafting these weird mythical creatures to put into your tableau that then have powers to do stuff. And it's a race game where it's the first 60 points wins.
Yeah.
And so each turn you're going to draft 2 creatures and then either sell them to get stuff or put them in your tableau to do stuff and then generate like a little engine. If you have enough fire creatures, you might get extra points for each fire creature, or you'll get points for discarding these kind of stones, or for destroying someone else's creature. Or,
Oh, I didn't see that one.
so, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a whole heap of different ones. There's also like
yeah.
steal points from other people, and it's not a that-y kind of game. It's much more build your own little engine of creatures. But
Yeah, it's like, I just need to get
sometimes-
to the end quick as possible.
Yeah, it's just race for 60 points, son. This is like it's a very chill kind of game. It's not particularly stressful, and the artwork is really kind of beautiful that you're sort of dealing away. It sort of feels sometimes like your engine doesn't work. So,
Yeah, I felt that very hard when we played.
and like if your engine's not working and the people next to you's engines are working, it's really quite obvious as they race to 60 points and you're like, well, I might make 20.
Yeah, I thought I made a half decent engine when we were playing. It was like, okay, cool. I'm getting 5 points for doing this every time and this and that. And I just saw you being like, okay, cool, this. I'm like, I just need to outpace Ben. Because I know he's going to catch me eventually. And you just like, yeah, cool. And you got like 6 points this round, then 8, then 10. And you just started like snowballing. I'm like, there goes my engine's been destroyed.
Yeah, it is one of those games where you can go, wow, I can make 5 points every turn. This is awesome. But if you don't increase that each turn, then the person who made 1 point last turn but made 3 points the next turn and then 5 points and then 10 points and then 20 points is going to blitz you.
Yeah.
So, and I do like that about the game. Like it says that it's only going to last either 10 rounds or when someone hits 60 points. I've played it a few times now and it's never got to 10 rounds. So someone always hits that 60. But I guess if everyone just failed, it would...
It's not just
around.
if you fail, like if the cards aren't right that get dealt out because it's random.
Yeah.
And then you you pick in order and then backwards again. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a snake draft. So
Yeah.
first player picks and then goes round, and then the last player gets to pick both of theirs, and then it goes right round back to the first player. I think that would be my negative against Veil of Eternity. The deck is probably a little bit too big, which makes synergy sometimes not work.
yeah.
You can just end up with some creatures that you're like, well, we haven't seen enough of those kinds of creatures for that to do anything. Or they come out either too early and they're hugely expensive creatures, and you're like, well, like, yeah, there's no
Like,
chance.
Eternity came out in our one, who's a character in it. And it's like, oh, he costs 14. I'm going to sell him. We just sold Eternity.
I'm going to sell him because that's worth
Yeah.
6. So,
I'll take that
yeah,
instead.
so, yep. And conversely, you can end up with like really weak creatures at the end where you're like, well, this will earn me 1 point, and that doesn't matter this round because this is going to be a 30-point difference.
Yeah. It's like, but I have all the stones I can hold for money, so I can't sell you for anything. Well,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it feels like it would help if somehow the creatures were slightly ordered in like different phases or something. So you've got the earlier creatures early and the bigger creatures later or something. But it's a pretty short game. It says 40 minutes on the box, but I reckon it's under half an hour for a game.
Yeah, easily.
Without much problems. It looks beautiful. It's really easy to play. I wouldn't take it over other tableau builders. Like I'd take something like Race for the Galaxy over this one. But in terms of ease to set up and ease to teach and how nice it looks, this one flogs Race for the Galaxy. It's
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
This feels a lot more entry level. This
Yeah.
one, like if you're gonna show someone a board game for the first time and a nice easy one, it's like, yep, cool, come with this. You put a stone down on that and you get that, and you can choose to buy that or sell it.
Yep.
That's it, pretty much. And what it says on the card is what happens when you put it out in front of you. Oh, cool, done. Very simple.
Yeah. It does have a couple of quirks that make it slightly difficult if it was your first game, but definitely if someone's played a couple of games before, then I don't think they'll have any trouble doing it. I will say it does have a piece in it that it says, this goes in the middle of the board to take a photo of the game before you start. And it has no other bearing. Like it's this whole cardboard standee of Eternity that you build.
Just to look cute. That's all
just
it
to look
is.
cute. And that probably gives you a bit of an impression of where this game is pushing its kind of focus in. Like this is a game that looks gorgeous and feels pleasant more than this really crunchy kind of, like bleed out.
Yeah, and you're not beating up your neighbor.
No.
It's just a race for the points. If you didn't get there, oh well, you got a bunch of nice animals in front of you.
Yeah, you got some nice like water, fire, earth, dragons, and air.
Fairy? Air? Yeah, we'll go with air. We'll go with air.
So water, fire, earth, air,
The
and
elements
dragons.
and a dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone needs dragons, right?
Yeah.
So,
How is Eternity a dragon? Anyway, that's not for
yeah,
me to decide.
Eternity is a dragon. It's a big white dragon that
That has like a lion's snout.
dragons can have whatever they like.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
guess, yeah. How
Dragons
do I
can be
know? I've never seen
snakes,
a
they can be
dragon.
lions, they can be
Yeah, they
whatever.
weren't in Food Chain Island.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, look, I'd recommend giving Veil of Eternity a go. It is on BGA, so you can easily play it there, get a bit of a feel for it, and so on. But it's worth a play. So
Yeah, if you're at a board game convention, you see it on the shelf, definitely rent it out.
Veil of Eternity.
All right, the last game we're reviewing this episode is Tiny Towns, designed by Peter McPherson. And it's a fun little city builder where you have a 4x4 grid and a bunch of a tableau of cards in the middle of the table. And you go around and everyone has a turn to be the master builder. You select a cube type. There's 5 different types: glass, wood, stone, or brick and hay.
Yep.
And like they're 5 different colors, and you go, like, if it's your turn, you go, I want to build a glass, and everyone has to grab a blue cube and put it somewhere on their board. Now, these cubes all line up to match a shape and grid on the cards in the middle of the table, and all those have different things. They're inns and marketplaces and cottages and wells. You're building a little town, and you place it on your board. And then you go to the next person, they choose one. And you go to the next person, they choose one. Might be brick and stone, and you put those. They might not work for you. They may do, but you've got to just try and think and be able to pivot and turn on other people's decisions of, okay, cool, I wanted to build the cathedral. I just need a glass, I need a stone, and then I need a hay. And then you get glass. Next person chooses stone. Yes. Next person chooses brick. You're like, no, where can I put this brick now? I'll put it in the corner here. And you're like, cool, I'll go with the hay. You put that on, you make the thing. And the next person's like, yeah, I want glass. And you're like, I don't want to build a glass one again. Like, nothing I have is glass. And then you're just constantly thinking, okay, what can I build? What can I make? Before your board fills up and you can't make a move again. Once that happens, the game's over. Everyone counts up the points. Highest points is the winner.
Yeah.
It's a fun little game. You've played this before, yeah, Ben?
Yeah. It's been a while since I've played it. From memory, it's got like anthropomorphic sort of little critters all around it and stuff.
For some reason on the artwork, that's what it is. It's cute.
Yeah.
Again, it's a nice little artwork.
It's deceptively cute. Like, you look at the artwork and you're like, it's a friendly little happy game about building tiny towns. And then you're like, nothing is working. And it's like, it's crunchy and difficult.
And you can't move your blocks. Once you put one, I just remembered.
Yeah.
Like, because I do when I play this with my son, he's like, oh, can I move this one? Like, yeah, that's okay. When you're older, we're playing the real rules. But right now, that's fine. Yeah, and so like once you put that block down, you're like, cool. It's like the city plans, like, or like the builders come like, where do you want it? Like there, it's like, okay, we're not moving it again. That's it. It's living there. You're like, I'm trying to build a town here.
The foundation is down.
Yeah, that's it. We have laid the hay. We have laid the brick. Like, oh my god. Okay, cool.
It is really quite interesting just that you're engaged in everyone's turn because whatever they pick is what you're picking. Mm-hmm. You can't wait for your turn when you can finally get the thing that you like and finally finish that bit. But yeah, I guess the trap I found with it was you get so stuck on like, I'm going to build X. Yeah. And so and then I'm just chucking everything else away because, putting it somewhere.
Anywhere else on the board. Yeah.
But to win, you really need to kind of be building lots of things and being able to pivot into like different designs so that you can use, you're never going to use every cube, but so you can use like the majority of cubes rather than just having to kind of waste other people's turns.
Yeah, because you might be making two buildings and they both share like two of the same stone, like two of the same part pattern. You go, okay, depending what other people pick, that's how I'm going to pivot for this one piece or one section. It's like, the cathedral might be an L, but the inn might be a U shape.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, they both use that. Okay, they chose that. So if I put that over here, that works. I can still make that work. Because once you've made the shape, you take all those cubes off and you get like a little wooden version of the item you were making.
Yeah.
Put that on your board and it occupies one of the like 3 or 4 or 5 spots where the cubes were, and that's where that place is now, and you can use the rest of the space again.
Yeah. But it also means that you've blocked out a chunk of space.
Yes.
And so the more buildings that you've built, the harder it gets to build more buildings.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it does look great.
It does.
Because you get this cool little tiny town at the end of it.
And one thing I do like is that the tableau cards you get in the middle, there's always, I think, 7. There's always definitely a cottage every time. Like, people need to live somewhere when you build a town. But there's always, like, then you have, like, the well. But the well could also be a roadside shack or something. Or, like, then you've got the inn. But the inn could also be a marketplace or this and that. Or, like, a church or cathedral, rather. Or, I like how there's variety there. So they change what you need to put down and the shape it is. And they have their own special powers with that too. And then you get your own wonder card. Like, everyone has one thing that they can make themselves, and it might be a statue or it's a university.
Yeah.
Of course, you're using your imagination to picture that this pink item is now the university here in my town. So you can sort of make up a narrative in your head as you're playing, or just crunch down and try and build everything. Like, how do I just get as many things on this board as possible? I fall half and half on that.
I think I struggled to get my buildings to line up well.
Yeah.
My spatial reasoning is not high enough to kind of
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I should have some space here. I'm just looking and going, oh, they don't fit.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh, crap, because I put that there. I can't actually make this item now. Nothing else uses these blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. You only kind of have yourself to blame if something goes wrong. Well, you can blame the other people.
Yeah,
for picking
I'll
different
blame
things.
Tony for picking straw.
Why do you keep taking straw? I need a brick. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is one, I definitely recommend.
Sounds great.
Tiny Towns.
Alrighty, so we talked about the Veil of Eternity, Food Chain Island, and Tiny Towns. So the normal question becomes, which would you rather play?
Right now, I kind of would go Veil of Eternity.
Okay, yep.
Funny enough. I really enjoyed when we played that one. Nice and quick.
Yep.
Yeah, just trying to make that little engine. I do like big fan of Wingspan. So I like that engine buildery sort of bit. And that was very light.
Yeah. And I think Veil of Eternity feels like you build your engine more than in Wingspan.
Yes.
Like Wingspan does have an engine, but Veil of Eternity, when it works.
Every round you use that engine.
Yeah. And the engine theoretically gets better every round.
If you can stack it right.
Yeah. That's what it should do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, where it's like, in Wingspan. I mean, we'll do a review on Wingspan another time. I think there's a lot of us who want to talk about that one, so we'll talk about it some other time.
I don't know whether anyone's heard of it.
No.
Like, it's pretty small.
Yeah, have you heard about all the expansions?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ben, yourself, which one would you play?
Look, I think I'd go Tiny Towns. It's been a while since I've played it, but I did enjoy my play. I think I was struck at just how much more crunchy it was compared to what the game appeared on the surface.
Yeah.
And I don't mean rules-wise. The rules are pretty simple, but you really do feel like every choice is... It reminded me a little bit of like Calico, which is like another like little puzzle game where you're trying to get things in particular order. And at the start, you're like, oh, this is easy. Like, why wouldn't I be able to get all the things that I want? And then about halfway through, you're like,
It's like that, like Welcome to, like Hadrian's Wall. Like, I cannot get these last bits.
It's a wonderful full sense of security at the start of the game.
This game is so easy. We're killing it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah. And I like that in games to an extent. So, I think I'd go Tiny Towns.
You don't want full analysis paralysis, but you want to be challenged.
Yeah. I like games that hoist me on my own hubris. So,
Fair enough.
Which Jenny would say I need to be done repeatedly. So.
I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy beating you. There's like, yes, I beat the guy who hosts the nights. Yes, it happens so rarely.
Doesn't happen that rarely, but
anyway.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, and we really look forward to getting bored with you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
And this has been The Board Crew. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to continue the conversation, just roll the dice over to our socials. Maybe leave us a review. Would really love to hear from you. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.
Designed by Peter McFit. Oh my God. I just tested that 3 times. The last game we're reviewing on...
You might have to let the happy dogs do their...
Yay.
Woof, 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 woof.